Hello everyone, this is Faria Rahman from 10th standard studying in Sri Vijaya Sai High School. First of all, Bakrid Mubarak to all my friends, sirs, teachers and the one watching the video. Today, I would like to narrate you all the story behind the celebration of Bakrid. In India, this festival is popularly known as Bakrid, also called as Eid al-Azha, the festival of sacrifice. The origin of Bakrid is from the story of Prophet Ibrahim and his son Prophet Ismail. Prophet Ibrahim was born in Babylon, now called as Iraq, some 2000 BC. He was the messenger of Allah. He was very obedient and stood firmly on every test and trials. His life was full of tests, trials and hardships. One such test was the incident of sacrificing his own son Ismail to Allah. Let us know what and how had this happened. Prophet Ibrahim was childless until his late 80s. His hope for a noble child was never down, even his wife became old too. After attaining old age, he was blessed with a baby boy whose name was Ismail and later who became Prophet of Allah. He and his wife were in full of joy of their newborn. His love for his son Ismail was very high. After some years, when Ismail became a very young man, Prophet Ibrahim saw a dream of sacrificing his son Ismail to Allah. He was in a deep thinking of his dream and Allah's sacrifice. The degree of his pain was beyond our imagination or tolerance. Ibrahim, being a very humble servant of Allah, started to shake as he was feeling apart and the great invincible of history was breaking into pieces. He was terribly shocked by the message, but the command was the order of Allah. A big tear dropped from his eye and reminded him of his son Ismail. And yet he was fully prepared to do what he was instructed to. He took his son Ismail to Mount Arafat with a knife and a rope. Upon reaching there, he told his son about his dream and Allah's sacrifice. Being an obedient son, Ismail quickly obeyed and asked him to tie his hands and legs so that he won't struggle and that his father to be blindfolded so that he won't witness him suffer. Ibrahim did as Ismail said. He put his knife on Ismail's throat and wanted to cut it as quickly as possible. The old man Ibrahim wanted to finish it in a moment, but he was full of fear. Angrily he threw his knife away. Ibrahim roared as a wounded lion, full of fear. Hurriedly he picked the knife to try again. Before touching Ismail again, a sheep suddenly appeared with a message that, "O Ibrahim, Allah does not want you to sacrifice your son. This sheep has been sent to you as his ransom. You have followed the order. Allah is great." So this was the story behind celebrating Bakrid. But as a student, we have to sacrifice all our bad things and have the good ones. Last but not least, I want to express my gratitude to Principal Sir because he always sacrifices his valuable time to make the school a wonderful place for the students to learn. Thank you, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Good morning to everyone. Myself Aisha Khan. I'm from 8th standard. In this video, I'm going to tell you about what is Eid al-Adha, how we celebrate Eid al-Adha, and why we celebrate Eid al-Adha. So, what is Eid al-Adha? Eid al-Adha literally means the Eid of sacrifice, which is celebrated by Muslims all over the world. Muslims sacrifices an animal on this day. Eid al-Adha is the second most important festival in the Islamic calendar. The animals can be slaughtered on either other are goat, camel, sheep and cows. Now, how we celebrate Eid al-Adha in Muslim countries? Eid al-Adha is a public holiday that involves animal sacrifice known as qurbani, prayers and family greetings. The meat from the animals we sacrifice is divided into three equal parts. One for the family, one for the relatives, and another third one is for poor people in our societies to make Allah happy. And that is the real process of Qurbani. Eid al-Adha is celebrated on 10 Hijrah every year based on Islamic calendar. Is ordered to often sacrifice Muslims buy animals and take good care of the animals. Thus, they get attracted to them, and by this, they learn compassion and also learn that animals must be treated with affection and care. And then, for the will of Allah, they sacrifice the animals. Then they get attracted to them. Now, question is why they celebrate Eid al-Adha? Prophet Ibrahim salam had a dream where he was asked by Allah to sacrifice his son Ismail salam. Justify whether he can sacrifice his most beloved thing for the will of Allah. Prophet Ibrahim salam passed the test. And at the final moment he closed his eyes when he about to sacrifice his son. Angel replaced his son with a lamb. Allah got happy with Ibrahim salam and sacrificed the lamb, which is copied by Muslims all over the world today on Eid. So every year Muslims sacrifice is remembers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. After the Eid prayers, Muslims hug each other and they said Eid Mubarak and celebrate Eid by sacrificing their animals. So Eid Mubarak to everyone.
Hello everyone, this is Afra Merin from 9th standard studying in Sri Vijaya Sai High School. Today I am going to say about Bakrid, which is also known as Eid al-Adha. I wish everyone Bakrid Mubarak. Eid al-Adha is the second and the biggest of main two festivals celebrated in Islam. It honors the willingness of Ibrahim alayhi salam to sacrifice his son Ismail as an act of obedience to Allah's command. It is celebrated for 3 days, starting from 10th to 12th day in the last month of Islamic calendar all over the world. On this day, all the Muslims gather in masjid or idgah to perform namaz, empty stomach. After namaz, Qurbani, an important part of this festival, is performed in which an animal is sacrificed. It is performed by all the Muslims who possess wealth more than or equal to 400 grams of gold. This animal sacrifice is mainly done to provide food to the poor and to commemorate the noble act of Ibrahim alayhi salam. A goat or a sheep is slaughtered. 1/3 of the portion is given to the poor, 1/3 to the relatives, and the remaining is for self-use. The animal sacrifice is strictly done during Hajj in Mecca, where pilgrims from all over the world flock to perform rituals. On this day, people wear new clothes, perform prayers, visit relatives and friends, and exchange greetings. I want to thank Principal Sir and teachers for giving this wonderful opportunity, and once again, Bakrid Mubarak.
Hi friends, I am Fari of 9th class studying in Sri Vijaya Sai High School. Now I am going to say story of Bakrid. According to Islamic traditions, once Allah challenged the Prophet Ibrahim a.s. to prove his faith on him. Allah asked the Prophet Ibrahim a.s. to sacrifice his dearest son Ismail. Prophet Ibrahim a.s. loved his dearest son Ismail and was as strong as faith on Allah. It was too pathetic to sling his own child in his own hands. But he could not deny the order of Allah. So he closed his eyes and raised a sharp sword. Reciting Allah's name, he divided the head from the body. When he opened his eyes, he could not believe on his senses. His son Ismail was standing alive in front of his eyes, and he saw a dead lamb lying in the pool of blood. Then he understood that the God wished to prove his willingness on his own object. Thank you. Now I am going to say when we celebrate Bakrid. Eid al-Adha or Bakrid is one of the most important and auspicious festivals which we celebrate all around the world. Eid al-Adha is also known as Eid al-Zuha, Feast of Sacrifice, Eid Qurban, Bakrid. This year India is going to celebrate Bakrid on 10th July. Eid al-Adha is an Arabic word which means festival of sacrifice. Eid al-Adha is celebrated almost after 70 days of Eid al-Fitr. This festival is celebrated.
Good morning to everyone. Myself Zohsania. I am from 8th standard. Today I am going to say about Bakrid festival celebrated by Muslims. Bakrid is one of the most important festivals celebrated by Islamic followers. Bakrid is also known as Eid al-Adha. Bakrid or Eid al-Adha is being celebrated tomorrow on 10th July 2022. The festival which will be celebrated by Islamic followers all over the world. In India, the festival which will be celebrated by followers of Islam all around the world is also known as Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Zuha. That literally translates to Feast of Bakrid is also known as Festival of Sacrifice. Muslims commemorate Bakrid to mark the prophet of Ibrahim's sacrifice to his own son as an act of obedience and devotion towards God. Muslims celebrate the festival by sacrificing a male goat as a symbol of the same sacrifice that Ibrahim had gone through. According to the Muslim lunar, Bakrid is celebrated during the month of 12 of Islamic calendar Dhul Hijjah. Bakrid falls on 10th day of the Islamic month of Dhul Hijjah. On account of holy festivals, all central government administrative offices remain closed on tomorrow. Muslim families around the world will be sacrificing a male goat, especially bought in for the purposes of cooking its meat. The families will feast on the male goat's meat and also distribute among the relatives, friends, neighbors, as well as poor and needy. So this is the information about Bakrid, a festival celebrated by Muslims. I thank all my teachers for giving me this wonderful and golden opportunity. Thank you.
Hi to everyone who is watching this video. Myself Sayyid Suleiman, studying in 9th standard Sri Vijaya Sai High School. Today I am going to speak about Eidul Adha. It is when Muslim people sacrifice goat, cow, sheep, camel and bull, sending the part of meat to poor people as a donation. On the day of Eid, people gather in mosque and pray special prayers to Allah. After the prayer, people greet each other by saying Eid Mubarak. It is believed that Ibrahim a.s. dreamed one night that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to sacrifice his beloved son Ismail a.s. Ibrahim a.s. wanted to follow Allah's command. Then he took his beloved son to the top of Mount Arfat. He also took with him knife and a rope. Then he informed to his son about his dream and told about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to do. Prophet Ismail a.s. was the obedient son, immediately obeyed the wishes of Allah. Ibrahim a.s. blindfolded himself so that he did not have to witness his son's suffering. Ibrahim a.s. did what Allah said. When he took out the blindfold, he found the dead body of a goat. His son Ismail a.s. was standing next to him with unharmed. He heard a voice saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of his believers and do not need to worry. From that time, the believers of Allah give Qurbani every year, remembering Prophet Ibrahim a.s. sacrifice. This was a story about Ibrahim a.s. sacrifice. The meat of Qurbani is divided into 3 equal parts, one part for our own family and second part for relatives and neighbors, and the last part of the meat is for needy and poor people. At the last, may this holy festival bring lots of happiness and joy in every house. Eid Mubarak to one and all, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Hello everyone, this is Hassanuddin from 9th standard of Sri Vijaya Sai High School, Bodhan. I am starting before you to tell you about Eidul Adha. Eidul Adha is an important festival of Muslim calendar. This festival is celebrated by Muslims all over the world. Eidul Adha, which is also known as Eidul Adha in Arabic. Traditionally, Muslim families hire a special carer to take care of their cattle and care for them as their families. On the day of Eid ul-Adha, they sacrifice them as devotion towards Allah. The sacrifice of Ibrahim is a message that strongly says that God is the great and one can sacrifice his most precious things for him. It is celebrated on 10th Hajj of Islamic month. Eidul Adha is the period of Hajj 50 pillar of Islam, and around 300 million people go to Makkah and perform pilgrimage together. It is the story of Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail. When Allah commanded him to wed, Ibrahim shows that he would obey. Allah provided a sheep for Ibrahim to sacrifice instead. For this reason, Eidul Adha traditionally involves sacrifice of sheep, of goat, and their meat is divided among the families, friends and poor people. On the day of Eidul Adha, people visit the mosque and perform the special and visit each other homes and exchanging their gift. Many Muslims observe the festival by dressing up and gathering with families and friends. The last, let's pray God to give good health and to give peace to every person on this earth. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.